Working with brushing, make sure it got in.
Is that going to include the vapor?
It's all the ways. I have the label. If somebody wants, I could give you have the label.
So
I could send it to you if you don't have it and move it around. Yes, it includes everything that's in. I'm going to tell you that you only can use material bought from Brushy Mountain. Yes, I know you can go pick it up in well the ways you can get it. But basically you're supposed to be using theirs. You can be dribbled, supplemented. Both of those are in the label with explanations on how to do it. Follow the label. The label's the law. Into that. So I think it's a good point. I've been hounding them, and they spoke. There was some issues back in May. I'm not getting into them. I know what happened.
And you and your inspectors will be at this meeting, so it can be disseminated to all of us pretty quickly that it's passed.
They don't necessarily have to go. It's the middle of the day, but you can come to the meeting. It's a public meeting.
So I will be at this meeting.
Oh, yeah, you will. I will be.
You get the information to your inspectors, and we can contact these folks and find out.
So as soon as I come out, and if we got a green light, you better believe I'm gonna be kicking up my heels in the hall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But no, so my interest in this meeting are to represent what the needs are, the apiary program, and how it fits into helping as a tool in our toolkit for honeybee health in the state, and the needs of the beekeepers, which is what this committee obviously may not have expertise or knowledge about. So why is this product needed? Why do we need another, what is the issue? What are issues that could come up with using it? What are issues with not having it to be used? So these are conversations that I'll be able to help with. Then hopefully you'll do the other piece of that, which is what is the ingredient? What's the literature say? Who's using it? Obviously there's this just got endorsed by the National Bee Research Association as one of the most important products. And so if there's a conversation around why it's necessary, to me that's huge. That's why it is something that we need to have in our toolkit. So, yeah.
Yes, I want to ask two things. One, is there any chance that we will get actually more inspectors this year? So that people out in the western part of the state can have an inspector rather than stretching out people.
And more hours with the
and more, yeah. And second, and if you need more money for that, let us know that, because we've got money before. We'll do it again if we have to. I would be happy to support that. The second thing I want to do is just thank you for a good meeting.
Yeah. Outstanding. Outstanding.
By the way,
the budgets are...
So just to address
Kim is the second Ph.D. inspector out of the 8 we've had over the years. I'd just like to read this little section. The chief inspector and each of his deputies, notice his in there, and each of his deputies should receive $5 for each day of full service actually rented under this act, and the amount of the traveling and other necessary expenses incurred in said service. It was trolleys back then, so the Britain Gage would travel around by trolleys along with the other inspectors. And secondly, I'd just like to invite tomorrow, Worcester County's got a great conference, all-day conference. We've got Dr. Walter Shepard, who's like the Tom Seeley of the East Coast, speaking on genetic diversity, creating genetic diversity in your apiary, in your entire region, which many of the clubs are now trying to do. His second talk is alternate treatments for varroa. He's had a lot of success. I spoke with him last night with mushroom extract and also metabolic gases. He's going to deal with that. And then we got Juliana Rangel from Texas A&M coming down on the reproductive health of honeybees, both of the drones and the queens, and what's going on, what their findings are. And her second talk is a mini queen rearing workshop, how to get it going, as many of the clubs are trying to get this going. So, 4 great talks. You're invited. It starts at 9 o'clock, 8 to 9 is Danish and coffee at Leicester Knights of Columbus Hall in Leicester, Mass. So, great conference.
Yeah. I'm going. I usually don't drive that far, but I'll be up there.
Carpool is possible, limited parking.
So I'll get there early.
That's right, get there early.
Okay.
So I just want to address the comment about the inspector. So most of you know, and I really appreciate your help, we are hiring an inspector for Southeastern Mass, and we'll hopefully help out Anita in Boston as we get some really busy list of beekeepers there. And then so for Western Mass, I'm actually your inspector for Western Mass. So you guys will have, but however, that doesn't mean to say that if we have additional needs, the problem is we don't have any data in the department to indicate how much need or interest is out there for inspections. All we have is how many people that have been inspected. And so that doesn't tell us how many people wanted to be inspected and weren't. So if we get to a point where obviously we have more interest than what we can handle, then that is information that I can use to justify additional positions.
So by
But
reaching,
if the goal is to inspect all hives, you've got your data because you know roughly how many hives there are, and therefore are you inspecting them all? And you know you're not.
we
So
also,
I would think the goal should be, in your pollinator protection plan, is that all hives, let's say all beekeepers have their hives inspected. That doesn't mean every single hive gets inspected. There ought to be a target that all beekeepers have hives inspected, and in the state, it protects everybody. And I don't think you have the inspectors to do it. But, so feedback from you on what you would need in budget to do that, and I don't know if you're allowed to do that or not, but that would be a useful number to have.
but also changing the culture of the beekeepers to look at the inspectors and the apiary program as a resource is what you need to work on by visiting the clubs, and I know you've been around doing that, and that's great, but
Yeah.
be more of a presence. Send out the inspectors as well
Yeah.
on official business to do that with all the clubs, because people attend the clubs, they want to learn, they want to know how to do this, they want to know how to be a better beekeeper. And if you're inspectors and you're there and they understand that's what you're there for, that will be a really great resource for them. And
So
it
I
will be
think-
used.
Yeah, and these are great to sort of bring those pieces out at the pollinator plan meeting, because these are comments that we definitely want to, and then this is obviously separate from that, but these are really good points that you guys want to bring into this meeting. And, you know, again, you're gonna have John LeBeau, so it'll be great for them to understand.
Who's
what the needs
coming, who's
are.
coming Monday
So,
to the meeting here? I'm gonna be here, but there's another, that one may be more important than this one, believe it or not. This is where the structure, this is, that's where the heat's gonna be, I don't know, here someplace.
I just want to make a point that meeting's not the only time for comments, so it is open for public comment at any point. And what we did in this meeting is, so John was really wanting to have a meeting with stakeholders of the people that had submitted the original documents to the department, so that we wanted to do a courtesy meeting saying, this is what we came up with, thank you so much for your submission, we'd love to hear your feedback, with this group. And so that's why, if you weren't invited to this meeting, it was intentional in the part that these were people that were involved in the original plans that were submitted to the department.
Are you sure everybody, I submitted comments on behalf of Middlesex County, I didn't know about this meeting.
Well,
What time does it start?
as in like what, so for instance, we did the farm bureau, yeah.
2 to 4.
Yeah, and I also submitted everything to the Farm Bureau because I was invited to go to the Farm Bureau. At the very last minute, they called me to come to a meeting when it was already drafted. So then they put my name on their letter endorsing their plan.
It'll be important.
But I also made sure that we submitted a plan in September that reflected the president's directive. And I haven't had a chance to look through it to see if that follows that or follows the plan that we submitted. And I never got a correspondence inviting me to the meeting.
So what I did is I took the emails from the Farm Bureau group for the people that were involved in the meetings in their group, and then the emails, so actually when I say the Farm Bureau, the group of the members that came to their pollinator, whatever, protection group or plan group.
I suppose they PNG'd me because I told them, I called them.
I sent this out
using my
to
name to
everyone.
endorse their product.
And then
Yeah,
obviously.
Alex
the
probably got
president
it from
of
me,
the
but
county group
she may
plan
have.
sent the email
So
out
she
saying,
knew.
hey,
Right.
So that's.
Because that's
She's
what
a
I
full,
sent
she and I have
to
communication all the time.
Farm Bureau and goes to,
I mean, so the meeting obviously is set up
I'll
for
give
these
it to you.
constituents.
The inside
So it's an
stuff.
opportunity for them because they submitted plans. It doesn't mean that if you don't want to, submit comments, you totally can, so.
Right now, it's just
Somehow my name
questions
wasn't
whether
on
other
that list.
people could sit in
I
on
mean,
that.
it will be. in
Course
this
yours
room.
wasn't on the list.
Doesn't
I
matter.
snuck mine out.
If we get 500 each, it's gonna be a little harder, but.
And a lot of us did doodle too, and we were deciding the date. And those of us that directed that program, it's great. And what I like is looking at the list of people that are going to show up. I went, oh, interesting.
But I do, obviously separate from this meeting, that plan has been released. It is available on the Apiary website.
Yeah.
If you want to go, and there's a PDF available. And submit comments to my email. And if you can, please put in the subject line, pollinator plan comments, because I want to make sure that, if you get comments and it's just some random thing, I want to make sure we get them to the right place. You can imagine how many emails I get. I don't want to, they need to be so I can understand and put them in a separate folder and have that information. So, yeah. I really appreciate you all so much. Thank you for coming and being involved in this. I know this is really important. It just speaks to the volume of how important and passionate you are about bees in the state. And you know, hopefully I typed fast enough and got everyone. I think I did a pretty good job, but, for sure, I look forward to having the rest of you involved in the process.
We look to you for providing further guidance to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.